She told me, if you don't like it, we can break up, because I asked about dinner. So I said okay, and made sure she understood I wasn't bluffing. I'm Matt, 30M. She's Olivia, 27F. We've been together a little over 2 years. Living together for one. The apartment is mine. Lease, utilities, internet, everything. But somehow, over time, it started feeling like I needed permission to exist in it. This all started over dinner. Or rather, the lack of one. I'd gotten home late from work. Long day, meetings stacked on meetings, brain fried. Olivia had been home since mid-afternoon. I walked into the kitchen and saw exactly what I expected. Nothing cooking, sink empty, takeout menus scattered on the counter like evidence of intent without follow-through. Hey, I said neutral. Did you end up making anything? She sighed dramatically, like I'd asked her to solve climate change. No, I didn't feel like it. Okay, I said. Could you maybe make something? Or we could cook together. That's when she dropped the line. If you don't like it, we can break up. Just like that. No build-up. No emotion. Just a threat she'd clearly used before. Maybe with other guys. Maybe with me, and I'd blocked it out. A conversational nuke meant to shut everything down. I stood there for a second, waiting for the punchline. Nothing. She finally looked up, annoyed. What? I'm not your mom. I don't owe you dinner. I didn't say you did, I replied. I just asked. And I answered, she snapped. If you don't like how I do things, we can break up. Something clicked then. Not anger. Not sadness. Just clarity. The kind that feels cold and steady. Okay, I said. Her eyebrows lifted slightly. Okay, what? Okay, I repeated. If that's what you want. She smirked, already turning back to her phone. Good. Then stop complaining. She thought she'd won. Thought this was me backing down. What she didn't realize was that I had just taken her very seriously, for the first time. And once you do that, there's no going back. That night, she acted like nothing happened. That's what really sealed it for me. She ordered takeout for herself, Thai, extra spicy, the kind she knew I didn't like, and ate it on the couch, feet up, watching reality TV with the volume too loud. She didn't ask if I wanted anything. Didn't offer to share. Didn't even acknowledge that dinner, the thing that supposedly wasn't a big deal, had somehow turned into a line in the sand. I made myself a sandwich and ate it standing at the counter. She glanced over once. See, she said. Problem solved. I almost laughed. Later, when she went to bed, I didn't follow. I sat on the couch in the dark, phone in my hand, replaying the moment over and over. If you don't like it, we can break up. She'd said it like a threat, but also like a dare. Like she was so sure I wouldn't take her up on it. I realized something uncomfortable. She'd used that line before. Different wording, same message. Anytime I asked for help. Anytime I brought up imbalance. Anytime I wanted something small. Effort, consideration, partnership. And every time, I'd backed off. Apologized. Tried to be chill. Not tonight. I didn't storm around. I didn't pack dramatically. I just opened my laptop and started making a list. Things in my name. Accounts. Access. Contacts. Spare keys. By midnight, I'd scheduled a locksmith for the next morning. Earliest slot. Cash. She rolled over in bed and mumbled, "Love you," half asleep. I didn't answer. Instead, I typed one last thing into my notes app. She offered a breakup. I accepted. Then I closed the laptop and slept on the couch for the first time in a year. Best sleep I'd had in months. Morning came quietly. Too quietly. I woke up to the sound of Olivia humming in the shower like it was any other weekday. Like she hadn't casually suggested ending a 2-year relationship over a basic request, and then gone to sleep expecting things to reset by morning. I stayed on the couch and listened. She came out wrapped in a towel, stopped short when she saw me sitting there, already dressed. You okay? She asked, suspicious more than concerned. Yeah, I said. Just up early. She shrugged and started getting ready for work. Normal routine. Coffee brewing. Makeup mirror out. She talked about her day like nothing had happened. Complained about a coworker. Asked if I'd seen her black heels. I answered politely. Briefly. At one point she said, "By the way, I might be late tonight. Don't wait up." That was when I knew for sure. She still thought she was in control of the timeline. At 9:12 a.m., she grabbed her bag and headed for the door. She kissed me on the cheek, quick and automatic. "Don't be grumpy later," she said lightly. "You know how you get." I watched her leave without saying a word. The moment the door closed, my phone buzzed. The locksmith was on the way. I spent the next hour moving with a calm I didn't recognize. Not angry. Focused. I gathered everything that was hers. Clothes, shoes, toiletries, makeup bags, chargers, and stacked it neatly by the door. I didn't throw anything. I didn't damage anything. I wasn't trying to hurt her. I was just done accommodating her. When the locksmith arrived, he asked if it was a breakup situation. I nodded. Good call, he said, swapping out the locks. People say things they don't mean until someone believes them. By noon, the locks were changed. By 1, I'd removed her from every shared account. Streaming services, location sharing, emergency contacts, everything that tied her to my daily life. I sat back down on the couch and waited. At 6:47 p.m, my phone lit up. Hey, I'm outside. Why isn't the key working? I read it once. Didn't reply. She'd asked for a breakup. I was just making sure she got it. Her reaction didn't take long. By 6:52 p.m, my phone was vibrating nonstop. Calls, texts, voicemails stacking up like she could brute force her way back inside. What the hell is this? Matt, answer me. Stop being dramatic. I let the phone buzz itself quiet. At 7:03, there was a knock. Hard, sharp, angry. Not the polite, maybe you're in the shower, knock. This was ownership knocking. The kind that assumes the door will open because it always has. I stayed on the couch. Another knock. Louder. Matt, she yelled through the door. Open this right now. I didn't move. My phone lit up again. You think this is funny? You can't just lock me out. This is my home too. That one almost made me smile. Almost. I finally replied with one sentence. You said we could break up. Silence. 30 seconds later, the knocking resumed, frantic now. I could picture her in the hallway, arms crossed, jaw tight, already rehearsing how this would somehow be my fault. Are you seriously doing this over dinner? She shouted. I stood up and walked to the door, not to open it, just close enough so she'd hear me. No, I said through the wood. I'm doing this over disrespect. There was a pause. Then her voice softened instantly, like a switch flipped. Matt, come on, she said. I didn't mean it like that. You know how I talk when I'm annoyed. I leaned my forehead against the door. That's the problem, I said calmly. You say things you don't mean because you never expect consequences. Her tone changed again. Sharp. Defensive. So what? You just decided this on your own. Yes, I said. Just like you did. Another long pause. Then, quieter. You're actually breaking up with me. I already did, I replied. She didn't knock again after that. I went back to the couch, turned off my phone, and for the first time in a long while, the apartment felt exactly the way it should, peaceful, quiet, and finally mine. I slept through the night like nothing was wrong. No adrenaline. No doom spiral. Just deep, uninterrupted sleep, the kind I hadn't realized I was missing until it came back. I woke up to sunlight and silence. My phone had 17 missed calls, all from Olivia. A handful of texts stacked underneath, the tone shifting with each one. This isn't funny. You're acting insane. Open the door. We need to talk. Matt, please. That last one was new. I didn't respond. I made coffee. Took my time. Sat at the table she'd claimed for months without ever cleaning it. Around noon, my phone buzzed again. A voicemail this time. I listened to it out of curiosity more than concern. Her voice sounded different. Tired. Strained. I didn't think you'd actually do this, she said. I was just mad. You always know that. You're really going to throw everything away over something so stupid? There it was. Stupid. As if respect was optional. As if partnership was a favor. I deleted the voicemail. An hour later, there was another knock at the door. Not angry this time. Hesitant. I stayed where I was. Matt, she said softly through the door. I don't have anywhere to go tonight. I closed my eyes. This wasn't about dinner. It never was. It was about how easily she'd reach for the nuclear option whenever she didn't want to be inconvenienced, and how sure she was I'd never call her bluff. I'll grab my stuff later, she added quickly. We can cool off. Just open the door. I walked to the door, rested my hand against it. You told me we could break up, I said. So we did. Silence. Then, barely above a whisper, I didn't think you meant it. I did, I replied. I stepped back, turned around, and went to the bedroom. Behind me, the hallway went quiet. That was the moment it became real for her, and the moment I knew I was done for good. The next 2 days were quiet in a way that felt intentional. I went to work, came home, cooked for one, slept diagonally across the bed she used to dominate like a queen claiming territory. I didn't check my phone much. Didn't need to. Whatever was waiting there could wait longer. Late on the second night, curiosity got the better of me. I turned my phone back on. 34 missed calls. More texts than I bothered counting. The early ones were angry, accusatory, predictable. You can't just do this. You're overreacting. Everyone thinks you're being ridiculous. Then the tone shifted. Matt, please answer. I didn't mean it like that. I was joking. You know that. Joking. Right. Around 1:13 a.m., the messages changed again. I'm at Rachel's, and she says I can stay one more night. I don't know what you want from me. I can't sleep. I read them without reacting. Without that familiar tug of guilt she used to trigger so easily. The space between us had done something important. It had broken the spell. At 2:06 a.m., the final message came through. Please. I'm sorry. I'll make dinner. I'll do better. Just let me come home. That one sat on my screen longer than the rest. Not because I believed it. Because I recognized it. This was bargaining. Panic. The realization that the leverage she'd always relied on, threats, dismissiveness, the assumption I'd stay, was gone. I put the phone face down. I slept through the night. When I woke up the next morning, sunlight filled the room. No knots in my stomach. No sense of waiting for the next conflict to drop. Just peace. She'd asked for a breakup like it was a joke. I'd accepted it like an adult. And that difference changed everything. By the third day, the narrative had shifted. I found out because my phone started buzzing with messages from people who normally never involved themselves in my relationship. Mutual friends. One coworker she'd met twice. Even her sister. Hey man, are you okay? Olivia's really upset. She says you locked her out over a joke. A joke. That's what it had become now. I didn't correct anyone. I didn't defend myself. I'd spent too long explaining my reactions to someone who never listened unless it benefited her. I wasn't about to start auditioning for public opinion. That afternoon, there was another knock. Not aggressive this time. Soft. Careful. I checked the peephole. Olivia. Different look. Hair pulled back. No makeup. Hoodie that used to be mine. She looked smaller somehow. Not physically, but emotionally. Like she'd finally run out of certainty. Matt. She said quietly through the door. Can we please talk? I didn't open it. I know I messed up, she continued. I shouldn't have said that. I was tired. I didn't mean it. There it was again. Didn't mean it. You say things you don't mean, I replied through the door, because you don't expect consequences. She swallowed hard. I didn't think you'd take it seriously. That's the problem, I said. I did. Her voice cracked. Just a little. I don't understand how you could just flip like this. I leaned against the wall, eyes closed. I didn't flip. I finally stopped bending. Silence stretched between us. I'll change, she said. I swear. I won't say stuff like that anymore. I believed she believed that. In the moment. But I also knew the pattern. Apology when leverage is gone. Promises when comfort is threatened. Reset once stability returns. I'm not interested in promises, I said calmly. I'm interested in peace. She let out a shaky breath. So that's it. Yes. She stood there for another minute, like she was waiting for me to change my mind. When I didn't, she turned and walked away. I watched through the peephole as she disappeared down the hallway. And for the first time, I didn't feel guilty. I felt resolved. The quiet settled in after that. Not the awkward quiet that feels like waiting. The real kind. The kind that doesn't ask anything of you. I cleaned the apartment that evening. Not out of nervous energy, but because I wanted to. I threw out the half-used candles she insisted were a vibe. Cleared the fridge of things I never liked, but learned to tolerate. I moved furniture back to where I wanted it before everything had slowly shifted to suit her preferences. It was strange how much space came back once she was gone. That night, I cooked dinner. An actual dinner. Not a sandwich. Not takeout. Just something simple. I ate it at the table instead of on the couch, phone face down, TV off. No commentary. No judgment. No threat hanging in the air disguised as humor. Around midnight, my phone buzzed again. One message. I can't believe you're really okay with this. I stared at it for a long time. She still thought this was about winning. About pride. About stubbornness. She couldn't comprehend that peace might actually feel better than being right. I typed a response. Deleted it. Typed again. Then I locked my phone and went to bed. For the first time since she'd moved in, I slept in the center of the mattress. No edge of the bed posture. No bracing for a sigh or a fight or a comment in the morning. When I woke up, there were no new messages. That was when it hit her. Not the breakup. Not the locks. Not the silence. The fact that I had stopped reacting. And that scared her more than any argument ever could. The begging started after the silence. 2 days in, that's when she finally understood this wasn't a standoff. It was an ending. It started with missed calls at odd hours. Not angry ones. Hesitant ones. Calls that rang just long enough to prove she tried. Then the text came back, slower now, spaced out like she was afraid to push too hard. I didn't sleep last night. I keep replaying everything. I didn't mean it like that, Matt. There it was again. The greatest hit. I read them all. I just didn't answer. That afternoon, I came home to find a bag sitting outside my door. One of mine. Neatly folded clothes inside. On top, a note in her handwriting. I thought maybe this would help. Help what? Her conscience? Her panic? I carried the bag inside, closed the door, and set it by the closet. I didn't feel grateful. I didn't feel angry. I felt detached. Like I was looking at a past version of my life someone else was trying to return. That night, around midnight, my phone rang again. I didn't answer. A voicemail came through seconds later. Her voice was different now. Smaller. Fractured. Please, she said. I get it now. I shouldn't have said that. I was tired. I was hungry. I didn't mean break up. I just wanted you to drop it. There it was. The truth she hadn't said out loud yet. She never wanted to leave me. She wanted me to shut up. I didn't think you'd actually do it, she whispered. I didn't think you'd actually be okay without me. I listened to the rest in silence. Then I deleted it. I went to bed, and while she lay awake somewhere else, bargaining with a choice she thought she controlled, I slept peacefully alone. It's been a week now. That matters, because a week ago I would have been checking my phone every 5 minutes, waiting for the next mood swing, the next demand disguised as a joke, the next moment where peace depended on me letting something slide. None of that exists anymore. The apartment feels different, not emptier, just quieter in a way that doesn't ask anything of me. No tension humming under the surface. No sense that one wrong sentence could turn into a breakup threat tossed out like punctuation. I ran into a mutual friend yesterday. He hesitated before speaking, then said, "She's having a really hard time." I nodded. I believe that. He waited, like there was more coming. Like I was supposed to feel something specific. I didn't. Because here's the thing I didn't understand until it was over. People who casually threaten to leave don't expect to be taken seriously. They expect fear, compliance, silence. They expect you to scramble to prove you're worth staying for. When I said, okay, I didn't raise my voice. I didn't argue. I didn't dramatize it. I just accepted her terms. She thought dinner was the issue. She thought the locks were the punishment. She thought silence was cruelty. She was wrong. The issue was the moment she treated our relationship like leverage. The locks were just logistics. And the silence? The silence was peace. 2 nights after she begged, I slept 8 hours straight. No dreams. No knots in my chest. Just rest. The kind that only comes when your life finally belongs to you again. She asked for a breakup like it was a threat. I gave her exactly what she asked for. And kept it. And I don't regret it.